Are you still watching a video that's over a year old on how to go and set up your parse and the settings and all that good stuff from a content creator who is brand new, had no idea what he was doing with his audio or video or anything else in the world? Well, today we're going to fix that. Welcome in, everybody. My name's Poke for Life, and today we are going to go through the way you need to set up your device and your character so that you can hit the best numbers possible. Before we get into the content, I'd like to take a moment to remind you, go over, follow me on Twitch. I will put it in the description below. It's a great place to come over and interact with me, and you can ask all the questions you want there. Now let's do this. The first thing we're going to take a look at is swapping your R3 and the L on your D-pad so that you are able to bar swap a little bit easier. So what you're going to do on the PlayStation 5 is you're going to press and hold the center PlayStation button. You're going to go over to Settings, and then you're going to go to Accessibility. You're going to go with Controllers and go to Custom Button Assignments for DualSense Wireless Controller. From there, you're going to enable the custom button assignments, and you are going to click Customize Button Assignments. You're then going to scroll down to left on the D-pad, and you're going to swap that for R3. Reason being is now we can go and use R3 to bar swap instead of pressing left on the D-pad. It makes it a lot easier to bar swap in combat and in your parse. From there, we're going to come back over, and we're going to get back into the game and look at those settings. So the first thing we're going to do is open up the start menu and go to the options. What we're going to come and look at is the camera, and we're going to look at our screen shake. So as you can see, when we go and use skills, we are shaking like no other. We don't want that to happen. It causes lag. And so what we're going to do is come over screen shake, and we're going to turn it all the way down. And if you look, we are no longer shaking. Our screen is nice and clean, and now we can parse without getting motion sickness. The other thing we're going to do is take a look at our combat timers. If you look at my skills, there is nothing telling me when they're ready to be reapplied. So what we're going to do is come over here to our options menu and come down to combat. And we're going to turn on the ability bar timers. You want to make sure that you have the ability bar timers on, and then you want the ability bar back row on. So the back row goes and shows what's on the opposite side. So now I don't know when to bar swap because nothing's there. But once I go and turn it on, then I can see my skills on the back bar and when they're ready to be applied. So those are two of the main things that you want to make sure that are on when you're initially setting up. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to make it to where people can't bug us and save ourselves a little bit of lag. So we're going to go to Social, Guilds, and go to the best guild in the game. And we are going to go to the roster, and first thing we're going to do is set ourselves offline, and then we're going to search for ourselves. The reason being is this makes it to where it is only going to be looking for one person. Okay, so it's not going with me, so we're going to just go like this, Poke for Life. And now, if I go to every guild, it is only going to be searching for my name, so we're just going to leave it like that. So now, let's go ahead and take a look at a good parse house. The one I'm currently in is a wonderful parse house. It's nice and small. It is the Twin Arches over in Bankerai. The only items I have in it, which really we could go without the storage coffers in the banker, but I use them quite regularly, so I just keep them there. And then it's got no decorations. We have a couple of dummies for building up stacks for the kilt. We have the ethereal well for building up our ultimate, and we have the actual parse dummy. I do have a little floorboard right here, so that this is as far back as I can stand to apply Beast Trap. And it's also going to give me the most time on my Mystic Orb. Just a little side note. So next thing we're going to do is take a look at our skills. Over here in the skills, you want to make sure you have them set how you like them. When you go and watch videos, people are going to have the skills in all different orders. Some people like their little skeleton archer guy to be over here on R1. Set it up how you want it and how you are comfortable. You are not going to be able to remember somebody else's playstyle, so you want to play it the way you are going to play. So that's the first thing. From there, you're going to make sure you have the correct skills. The difference between parsing and content can be a couple of skills that are necessary. Like, for instance, on a sorcerer, you have crit surge. On a necromancer, you might have to go and run the necrotic potency. So make sure you have the correct skills when you're actually setting up for your parse. The next step for the skills are looking at the passives. So your passive abilities are abilities that are going to be there regardless whether or not you hit a button. So it's going to be things that will occur as long as you have something on the bar or just for putting skill points in there. So you want to make sure that you go in and put the passives for essentially all of your class skills. So if you're a necromancer, it's going to be Grave Lord, Bone Tyrant, and Living Death. And then you also want to go in and put them in for whatever weapons you're using. If you're using a destruction staff, make sure you have all the passives in here so that you get the max bonus. One of the things I realized on my Dragon Knight is the importance of the light and medium armor skills. I generally have learned that I like to parse with 5 medium and 2 light. When I was parsing without the passives inside of the light and medium armor skills, I was only hitting around 89 to 95. When I put everything inside, it was an automatic jump up and I hit 106,000. It was a big change, so it's just something that I figured I would annotate and let you all know about. The other places you want to go and make sure you have your passives updated are the Fighters Guild, especially if you're using Beast Trap, and the Mages Guild in case you're using any of those skills, and the Undaunted skill line, mainly for the Undaunted command, where you can go and get extra bonuses for your synergies. One of the mistakes I've made many times has been going and not putting in my racial skills. Make sure you put your skill points in your racial passives. It is nothing but help, and it just makes life a lot easier. Make sure to do it. The next items we should be looking at are champion points. So what you're going to do is go into your champion points and realize that there are 2 types of champion points. The first are the passive champion points. These are just like the skills where you are going to get the bonus as long as they're there. You fill them up and you're going to get a bonus. So for instance, if I come over here and put 20 points inside of Blessed, then my healing is going to be increased by 2% regardless. That is different than if I wanted to go and slot, say, Backstabber. If I want to have Backstabber, I have to fill it up and then I come over here and I have to assign it to the bar. You'll see up at the top that the little highlighted ball is changing. So if I wanted to get rid of Wrathful Strikes, I would highlight that and then select Backstabber and then circle and then hit confirm by pressing square. That is essentially the big thing to note with champion points. For Scribes of Fate, a couple of the big ones to be looking at are Wrathful Strikes, Thaumaturge, Master at Arms, and Exploiter. Exploiter is a very large one with all of the new Oaken Soul and Lightning Staves. Now we're going to take a look at our character sheet. You are going to go, and if you are playing on a Magicka character, you're going to put everything into Magicka. If you're playing on a Stamina character, you're going to put all of your attributes into Stamina. Yes, the game is hybridized. That is meaning that your weapon or spell damage will be what determines how much damage you do. However, that being said, it doesn't mean that you want to go and split your resources. You want to build up as big of a resource pool as possible so that you have as much damage as possible. We're also going to take a look at the Mundus Stone. The Mundus Stone is a huge piece of your parse. In general, DPS are going to be using the Thief. In content, if your group is not optimized or if you're running an Oaken Soul build, chances are is you might need to run with the Lover for the extra penetration. And one of the last things we're going to do is go and check our gear. So come over here to inventory, and the first thing you're going to do is make sure that you have the correct gear on. You want to make sure that if you are using a monster set, when you scroll down on it, it has both of the pieces active if you're going for the monster set bonus. If you're using a 5 set, then you want to make sure that you have all 5 pieces. If you are using an arena weapon, then go ahead, bar swap over to it, make sure that you have the arena weapon active, and then go over and check to make sure that you are getting what you desire from your other weapon set. So for instance, Pillar of Nirn. This is going to only have 3 items until I bar swap back over and use the full set for Pillar of Nirn. After you've made sure you have the correct gear, you want to go in and make sure you charge your gear. No one likes going through and parsing and then get halfway through just to realize that you have run out of a charge on your weapon and you are not going to be getting the optimal damage. And the final thing that I am going to bring up that everybody is aware of and has seen is the skeleton polymorph. You will see the skeleton polymorph quite regularly. The whole point behind the skeleton polymorph is a while back, it used to be a thing where frames would drop if you didn't have it on. It is not quite a big deal anymore. In fact, I have a video going and testing the parses for the skeleton polymorph versus not having the skeleton polymorph. I'll link that below so you can check it out. Overall, good, bad, indifferent, you can choose to wear it or you can choose not to. It is not going to be anything that is going to be groundbreakingly great that will help your parse and bring you up from 80,000 to 100,000. Thank you all so much for coming out, taking the time out of your day to watch this video. Hopefully it was something useful for you and you learned something new. Make sure you hit that follow button, subscribe to the channel, and like I said before, come over, hang out on Twitch where you can interact with me directly, and that will be linked below. Have a wonderful day. I will see you next time.